Hi, it's Jane. I have one finished object. I have a couple of Izzy stories to tell you. But my finished object is the Tarnation baby blanket. This one. The other one is not finished. I am needing to add a lot to it. As you can see, I've added a border to it. And while doing that border, I saw Izzy walk past with this bag in her mouth, which has all those balls of the thread on them, crochet thread. And I'm like, where is she going? And that was while I was working on this, finishing up the border. I'm like, what is she doing? So by the time I put this down, put it away, because Ronan is fascinated with watching me crochet, and he tends to want to help me. She's already gotten the bag open and several of the skeins out, and she's playing with them. So I will insert that video at the end. But I think that was maybe Wednesday or Thursday evening. No, that was Thursday evening. But the day before, I have a coffee table in my living room, and it has 2 drawers in it. And I was watching a video, and I hear her do her little trill, which that's her general way of communicating to me. She doesn't really meow. Neither one of the cats really meow. I mean, they do occasionally, but for the most part, they do a little trill. And she did that several times in a row, and I realized she's fairly close. So I look up, and she has got one of those drawers open, and she's almost in the drawer, going through the drawer. I have no idea how she got that open at that time. I did watch her a couple times after that and saw how she does it. She gets up on the coffee table, and she takes her little paw and pushes the handle to where she gets the door open, and then she likes to sit in the drawer. Go through it. This cat, I'm telling you. I am also going to tell you the story that happened Saturday night. I'd gone to bed. I have a defect with my kneecaps. They don't sit on my femur correctly, so I ice my knees every night before I go to bed, so I don't wake up in intense pain running down my hip, leg, into the knee from the top part down, because of the way it sits. And all of a sudden, I hear voices in the living room. And I'm like, what? Did I leave the remote to where maybe one of the cats jumped on the remote and turned the TV on? No. I come into the living room, and Izzy is standing on my laptop on the keyboard area, and she's watching a video. I'm telling you, this cat, she just cracks me up sometimes, the things that she does. It's fun, and it's funny, but there are things like, oh my goodness. So, I shoo her off the computer, and I thought I had turned it off, and apparently I didn't. So I did go ahead and turn it off, close the laptop, because I'm really not quite sure how she even got the screen to come up, because the screen does lock. And then I have to put in a password, and I'm pretty sure she's not watched me put in the password. But apparently she bypassed that somehow. Who knows how. But she's done a couple things like that, and it just, like I said, it just cracks me up. I have no idea how she got into that kind of stuff. But then Sunday afternoon, I come home and I fire up the computer because I'm going to watch a few videos. Didn't sleep well Saturday night. So I figure I'll watch a couple of videos because I don't want to fall asleep today during Sunday afternoon, because that way I won't sleep Sunday night. I know that about me. So I want to stay as awake as much as possible. And I get to looking on the screen and I'm like, what are the screenshots? And I thought she'd only taken 4, but she took 8 screenshots. And they were on the desktop. Telling you. This cat, she is something. So yeah, there's that. Now I did have another finished object, and I will insert that video here. I hope you enjoy this little insert here. I have a friend whose birthday is coming up, and by now she's already gotten her present, otherwise you wouldn't be seeing this. But she is a fan of gnomes. We are both fans of gnomes. But she is also a fan of the Phillies. So I crocheted her a gnome, a Phillies gnome. I did decide to unravel the beard part, and this is her birthday gift. I hope that she enjoys it, and I hope you enjoy seeing it. This pattern is a pattern by Winding Road Crochet. It's very simple to do. It's not that difficult. The hardest part is when you do take your fabric paint. You can use magic markers to put the stitching on for the baseball. But other than that, it's very simple, very easy to do. And yeah, there you go. That's the secret project that I had that you couldn't see for a long time. And yes, I did a little amigurumi gnome. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of this fella. So all right, that's it. Get on with the rest of the podcast. If you have seen that, of course, you know that my friend, I have given her birthday gift. She is a big fan of Phillies, so I did make her a little Philly baseball gnome. That was a lot of fun. I don't normally do amigurumi, but I did also find that the amigurumi that I have done before, I've done 2 gnomes now. And both of those gnomes I have found, I just left them alone, stuffed them the way they said, but they don't really sit upright. They tend to fall over. And I think the one gnome is back there leaning behind me. So this one, I actually put a couple of those. When I make knitted knockers, I include hand-painted stones with affirmations on them. You know, the little black round river stones that you get at Dollar Tree or $1.25 tree now. But there are some stones I can't use. They're too round, they're broken, or they're too large, really, because these stones are meant to put inside the prosthesis so that if you, it helps weight them down so they don't slide up out of the bra. So there's that. But that is the only other finished item I have this week. I am working on the other blanket to try to get it finished because I do have to add to it, and I will be adding some of the previous stitches that we did as a repeat. So there's that. Now, Tarnation Tuesday, we are taking these projects that are finished And we are evening up the edges, the borders, adding a border, evening it up that way so it's not all wonky. And I show you my method for doing that. I had already filmed that portion using my small sampler, but I deleted it, so I have to refilm it. Yay me. So yeah, those are some of the things that have happened this week that I thought were rather funny, and yeah. Now I did purchase something, and I purchased these off of Amazon because the steel hooks, even though I've had the hand surgery for carpal tunnel, I still find it difficult. My hands tend to cramp holding the smaller needles. So I ordered some of these that are more ergonomically useful. They're not exactly the same as the steel hooks, size and measurements, but they're pretty close. So, you know, I can easily use those. And I did find, I do like the colors. It is a nicer hook. It's easier for me to hold. I haven't done any crocheting with these with the thread yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that. And they do have a nice little, let me get this to where we can focus a little bit. They do have a nice little edge there. It is a little bit rounded. It's not quite like Susan Bates. It's a little more boyish in the way it is. And I'm sure that this was some Chinese company. I could probably find the link and leave it down below. But I think I got these for like $9. Some change. And I do have Amazon Prime, so like I said, they're nice, they're soft. I did try a little bit of crochet with it with a very thin yarn that I had sitting over there, and they seem to work fine, no issues. There are a couple really fine needles in there that I most likely will never ever use because it would be using like size 20 thread, size 30. I don't go that small. So yeah, that's kind of it so far. And now, are you ready for a little what in Tarnation? I know I am. You know, we laugh about people who are born in the leap year. Let me get a drink. Because they only have a birthday every 4 years, right? Well, that's not really true. They do get a birthday every year. It's just we only recognize that leap year day every 4 years. But there are also things that happen with leap year that probably were really unexpected. And one of those, I've told you I'm diabetic, so I have a glucometer. And when I went to check my blood sugar, I noticed that it was really off. It just didn't count that 29th day. So who knows? Leap year glitch shuts down gas pumps across New Zealand. Dozens of unattended gas pumps across New Zealand were out of service for several hours due to a leap year-related software issue. Gas station chains, including Allied Petroleum, Gull, Z, and Waitomo, reported they could not process card payments on Thursday because their computer systems were not programmed to accept February the 29th as a valid date. Motorists have been turning up and unable to get fuel, Julian Lays, spokesman for Gull New Zealand, told the New York Times. It's been incredibly frustrating for our customers. No doubt. Lay said Gull stations, as well as all New Zealand gas stations with unattended pumps, use technology provider Invenco Payments were still able to be processed at gas stations where employees were present, but some stations said customers had to go inside rather than paying at the pump. And doesn't that just annoy you when you have to go inside to get the receipt, too, after you've paid out at the pump? John Scott, the chief executive of Invenco, said the company operates pumps in over 100 countries, but only New Zealand was affected by the issue. We clearly know about leap years, Scott said. We've been dealing with them for the last 20 to 30 years. He said the issue resulted from a specific software update from the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. He said the system was back online around 7 p.m. Thursday. And that's another pet peeve. I'm getting sick of them blaming COVID-19 pandemic for everything. Well, I gotta tell you, this little kitty survived unsurmountable task. Cat rescued from junkyard car moments before being crushed. A runaway cat taking shelter in a car at a North Carolina junkyard was rescued from the vehicle just moments before it was crushed. The Brother Wolf Animal Rescue said the junkyard worker opened the hood of the car to remove the battery before the vehicle was crushed, and a cat took a blind leap of faith into his arms. The employee kept the cat bundled up inside his jacket for the rest of his shift. Even that's amazing. With no shelters nearby and no idea how to get his new feline friend help, he reached out to Brother Wolf, where his girlfriend works, to try and find the cat's family, the rescue said in a social media post. Sanctuary said a call soon came in from the junkyard reporting that a man had shown up searching for his lost pet. We reached out to Lily's caretaker, who was so thrilled to hear that his closest companion was safe and sound, the post said. We learned from him that despite her small size, Lily had an adventurous spirit like no other. The shelter offered to spay, vaccine, and microchip Lily for the man, and they were reunited once her procedures were completed. When Lily reunited with her dad, the relief and happiness, I'm going to cry, was so clear on both of their faces. She melted into his arms as his eyes filled with tears of joy, the rescue said. Washington road sign hacked to warn of angry raccoons ahead. I find that funny. I would love to see a sign like that. The owner of an electric roadside in Washington sent a message warning drivers about angry raccoons ahead. Was the work of pranksters? Or was it? The sign at the side of Spokane's Northwest Boulevard near Audubon Park displayed the perplexing message during the Wednesday morning commute, and City Public Works Department officials said they had no information on the sign or of any angry raccoon activity in the area. Mike Beggs, co-owner of Spokane Traffic Control, which was contracted by Public Works to provide the sign for a construction project, said the sign was hacked by unknown pranksters. Beggs said someone twisted the lock on the back of the sign open and was able to access its controls to change the displayed message. That's the first time that's happened that I can remember, Beggs told the Spokesman Review newspaper. Somebody had to know what they were doing. Beggs said he was relieved the message was something inoffensively humorous. We are fortunate that it wasn't rated R, he said. Workers at the nearby Little Garden Cafe said multiple customers had mentioned the sign. They said Audubon Park is infamous for its squirrel population, but they were not aware of any reports of raccoon-related incidents. You know, California, every year you hear about the mudslides, you hear about the flooding, and you hear about all the fires. But this is a rather interesting story. California waterfall becomes firefall in a rare phenomenon. Visitors to Yosemite National Park in California were treated to a rare phenomenon when the reflection of the sun on the falling water created what's known as a firefall. Yosemite's Horsetail Fall becomes a firefall only a few times each February, when the reflection of the setting sun makes the falling water look like flowing flames. Jay Hong captured video during a recent visit to the park and posted his footage to YouTube. This was my first time to capture the complete firefall effects in the last 30 minutes of sunset without any obstruction from clouds, even though I'd photographed the firefall multiple times over the last dozen years. That's an amazing footage, and it's gorgeous. It's amazing. Nearly 200 escaped goats wandered Texas neighborhoods. Nearly 200 goats brought to a Texas park to clear unwanted plants escaped from their fence and went wandering through nearby neighborhoods in Arlington. The Arlington Police Department said the goats were employed by the city to clear plants such as poison ivy and poison oak from the Crystal Canyon natural area, but they somehow managed to get out of their fenced enclosure. It looks like they may have gotten out of the fence, or the fence fell. We don't know exactly what happened, but they got out. Police said multiple calls came in from local residents reporting a large number of goats wandering through their yards. The department shared body camera footage showing officers helping animal wranglers round up the hungry herd and return them to the natural area. I can't promise plants weren't eaten that weren't supposed to be eaten, but no goats were injured, said Mac DeBricht, the city's Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. This next video, I'm surprised that this person didn't get injured. I really am. Tank malfunction drenches brewery employee with beer. A Minnesota brewery shared video of the moment a brewing tank malfunction caused a brewer to be blasted with beer and thrown across a room. The Back Channel Brewing Company in Spring Park posted the video to Facebook, showing a brewer named Brendan checking systems on a large stainless steel tank. The video shows the valve breaking off, causing a strong stream of beer to blast out of the tank and hit Brendan in the chest, launching him across the room. Brendan quickly gets back up and starts trying to plug the hole, while other employees rush in to help. The brewery said the New England IPA from the tank has now been dubbed Blowback and is available in limited release, obviously. Okay, I hope some of you in Michigan are able to get that beautiful beer named Blowback. All right, literal pancake house available for 3-night rentals in Tennessee. A breakfast-themed house fashioned after a stack of pancakes, complete with butter-shaped chimney, is being made available for 3-night stays on 4 dates in Tennessee. The Eggo House of Pancakes, constructed by Eggo in honor of Wednesday's National Pancake Day, is furnished with breakfast-inspired decor, including pancake-inspired beds with strawberries and cream sheets and pillows. The house is located in Gatlinburg, described by Eggo as the pancake capital of the South. Flapjack-loving fans and families visiting this unique vacation destination will be transported into a pancake paradise from the moment they step inside. Breathe in the scent of sweet syrup-infused mountain air. Get cozy in the fluffy pancake beds and beanbag chairs, the company said in a news release. The kitchen is stocked with Eggo's frozen pancakes, as well as mini pancakes for making s'mores at the house's fire pit. It also comes equipped with a maple syrup fountain. The house is listed on Home to Go for 4 3-night stays, March 7th through 10th, March 14th through 17th, March 21st through 24th, and March 28th through 31st, and the booking opens Wednesday. There you have it. And I'm going to read the devotional in a minute. But first, I'm going to discuss a new type of scam that I was pretty much aware of the minute that this person contacted me. But some of you who watch this video are also friends with this person. So I'm sure this person is trying to get a few dollars out of you. But this person contacted me. I do friend a lot of people on Facebook because I never know if they are subscribers like you. I don't know if they've subscribed to the daily reading, daily Bible reading with Jane, or if they subscribe to my Scraptastic channel. So I do friend them. If I find out later that they're a scammer, I'll mess with them. I love doing that. However, I recognize this right away. And part of the reason I recognize this is because when I was doing research about some scammers, I recognized several things that happen. One of the things is they will clone accounts. When they go in to clone these accounts, they will go in, look at the photos that's on these accounts. They will notice either this person hasn't posted much, or there's one or two postings, and then it's kind of left alone for a long time. So what they do when they clone these is they will download those pictures. And if you don't realize that, most of us, any pictures we put up on Facebook, Instagram, can be downloaded to our own devices. Then they will go in and they will open up a new Facebook account with a different email, using those photos, using all the information that you have put in on your About page, that kind of thing, as well as photos. Well, I had noticed this, I looked at it, and whenever I do get a friend request, or someone who wants to message me on Facebook, and this is where this started with Facebook Messenger, I usually go in, look at the profile, and Facebook always asks you, do you know this person? You check no or yes, and they tell you things you can do. Well, I always hold off a little bit because I've had some people that guess they weren't scammers. So I hold off for a little bit. Well, this person contacted me, female, and we started chatting one night. She was asking questions, and I finally said to her, why are you asking me all these questions? Why do you want to know this information? So then she sent me a picture of a male person, and she'd made some comment, what do you think? I said, well, he's a nice looking fellow, but I had already recognized the photo, and I knew who the photo was. Because of the research I'd done into scammers and things like that. Looking at different websites where you can go in, put a person's name, upload photos, and ask if there's any, scams related to this person. And she said, well, no, and I said, I don't know this person, She goes, well, you wouldn't. He's my father. I am going to put the photo, after I finish telling the story. I will also provide the link to some of that information I'm about to give you. So, she's like, well, he's really shy, but he really likes you a whole lot. And I figured right away it was a scam. So, well, I don't bite much. So then, she wanted a number for him to contact me. So I gave a number. I won't disclose that number. And so I had told her he could text me. So he texted me, and we texted back and forth a little bit. Now I'm assuming it is not a male person, although she said it was her father. I'm assuming it's most likely her or him, maybe a him, using a female's information. But, we kind of chit-chatted for a couple of days. And then I believe it was either Thursday night or Friday. Can't remember exactly. She said, "Have you talked to Dad?" I said, "No, I haven't." She said, "Well, he's not answering my calls, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm really worried, blah, blah, blah." So, I texted this person, and basically the person said that he was sick. He was at the hospital. A few minutes later, he comes back and he says he was diagnosed with autism, ASD. The doctor said that he's probably going to lose his memory. Well, at this point, I figured the scam was really beginning. So then I started messing. Because he wouldn't talk to me any further. Sorry, battery died. No context sense. So then she started asking me what was going on. I said, well, he said he's at the hospital and that he was diagnosed with autism and ASD, that kind of thing. And, and then she's, supposedly getting all hysterical. What's going on? I can't lose him like I lost my mom. I lost my husband and my mom. And, I have just my son. I'm staying with friends. I can't ask for any help, that kind of stuff. Blah. I really need to go see him. Blah, blah, blah. Can you talk with him? And she's upset. She's like, can you tell me what's going on? Is he going to live? Is he going to die soon? I can't lose him, and I'm like, calm down, calm down. And I said, basically, it's unusual for someone his age, late 60s, to be diagnosed with autism, ASD. It's not unheard of. I do have a friend who was diagnosed, I believe, when she was 60. So it's not unusual. I said, but it's unusual to be diagnosed in an emergency room situation or an urgent care situation. I said, yeah, there are some memory issues, but it's usually more related to being really distracted a lot, not being able to focus on things and follow through. Kind of like, I call it the here's a kitty syndrome, which, those of us that love yarn, we see yarn, we have the there's a kitty syndrome right there because we gotta go look and touch the yarn. So, there's that. And then, I kind of started, we're all gonna die eventually, just he's gonna be fine, and unless he is having ideations of harming himself. I knew it wasn't going on. Mainly because she told me he'd taken a contract. He was out at sea. Get where I'm going here, folks? On an oil rig, that kind of thing. Okay? That is, number one, first clue, it's most likely a scam. Also, marine engineer. Yeah. So, anyway, then I started messing with her. I said, well, he might lose his strength. He may not be able to walk straight anymore. Yeah, he could probably lose memory to where he doesn't know where he's at or who he is, that kind of thing. Blah, 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 all that nonsense. And of course, then I tell Connie about it. And my friend Connie of Just Another Stitch, she says, tell him he's going to have depends. Well, later on, he did contact me and ask me some of the things, and, I messed with him, or her. I'm assuming it's a her, him, that kind of thing. Probably from Nigeria, Sri Lanka, India, Bangkok, one of those places where hackers live, scammers live. So, I just kind of left it at that, and I went to bed. So, Saturday night, she contacts me and she wants to go visiting. And she really needs some help. And I said, well, I'm not sure how I can help you. She said, you can help me. I need some money so I can go visit him for gas in the car or something. I'm staying with a friend. I can't impose on this friend any further, blah, blah, blah. Like, sorry, I can't help you. There's no way I can help you. She goes, not even $1? I said, no, not even $1. And then she goes, well, I'll have to get back to you later because, I have an idea. I need to contact some other people. So I'm sure it's, whoever else she's scamming, which is probably some of you. So, I did send her a message. I did say that because I do have his telephone number, supposedly, or hers, not sure what it is. I said, you could call the police and have them just do a welfare check on him. And most likely they can ping his phone if he's not at home to determine where he is at. But, I never got a response. I didn't expect to, and I don't expect to from here. But here's the reason I know it's a scam. The gentleman's picture that she sent me is a very famous doctor out of Houston, Texas. He is a bariatric doctor, and his name is Dr. Garth Davis. I'm going to put the picture here. That she sent me. So, anyway, he has a Wikipedia page. Imagine that. But in the Wikipedia page, there's a section where he talks about scammers using his likeness and about several, I guess one woman had lost her life savings, her home or something, whatever, due to that scam. So I'm going to provide the link to the Wikipedia article. He does have a Facebook page, Dr. Garth Davis, works at, used to work at Houston Medical or Houston Methodist. I'm not exactly sure, which is one of the hospitals I used to work at. I used to work at one of the Methodist hospitals that was attached to the Houston Methodist Hospital. So, there you have it. So, if you are approached by someone who is trying to get you into one of those romance scams, consider taking it a little further and acting upon it. Contacting the FBI with all the information you gathered, pictures, any conversation, that kind of thing. So, Saturday night, I did make a call to my local 911. And I told them, I said, I don't know where this person is located. I'm going to tell you where the telephone number says they are from, but I have been told that they are from Groves, Texas. And I explained the whole thing to the person. I said, and I'm pretty positive it is a scam. But, this person was pretty upset, worried because couldn't contact the person. So, maybe we should put it out there for a welfare check on this person with this phone. So, yeah, that's where I left it. The dispatch person that I did talk to said that they would follow up and get back to me, and they did. And they did follow through. And I can't tell you any further than that because they think that they found a ring of scammers through it. So it never hurts to report those things, turn them in. Like I said, report it to the FBI. And let everybody be aware of it, as I am letting you aware of it now. This person's name is Chander Marie. Supposedly her father's name was Brian. So just a forewarning. Okay, folks? All right, let's get into the devotional. Let me get it because I didn't get it out. And it's hidden under here. All right, the devotion comes from promises from God's heart. It's going to blow out promises from God's heart. Promises from God's heart when you are faithful. Blessings on you if I return and find you faithfully doing your work. I will put such faithful ones in charge of everything I own. Matthew 24:46 through 47. The loving kindness of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting to those who reverence him. His salvation is to children's children of those who are faithful to his covenant and remember to obey him. Psalm 103:17 through 19. Lying lips are detestable to the Lord, but faithful people are his delight. Proverbs 12:22. I am grateful to the one who has strengthened me, Christ Jesus our Lord, because he considered me faithful in putting me into ministry. 1 Timothy 1, verse 12. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful and trustworthy over a little. I will put you in charge of many things. Share in the joy of your master. Matthew 25:23. Loyalty and faithfulness deliver a king. Through loyalty he maintains his throne. Proverbs 20:28. In every situation take the shield of faith, and with it you will be able to extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Ephesians 6:16. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Deuteronomy 7:9. Know that the Lord has set apart the faithful for himself. The Lord will hear when I call to him. Psalm 4:3. And that is it today. As always, be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the people that contact you through social media. You never know. It's happened to me on Instagram as well as TikTok. But I am ever aware of what's going on. Pay attention to some of the quick clues that happen. I am going to insert the picture of Izzy in the drawer and the video of Izzy here at the end. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you again soon. As always, remember, be kind to one another, be kinder to yourself, and get in touch with God. See you guys soon. Bye.